जय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य गौरचंद्र जयाद्वैत चंद्र जय जय नित्यानंद जय जय गदाधर जय श्रीनिवास जय मुकुंद वासुदेव जय हरिदास.
Hare Krishna and a warm welcome to all our viewers to the GBC Strategic Planning Team's Every Town and Village series, which is part of our Gaur Purnima initiative this year, which started in the end of February and shall continue till Gaur Purnima. And during this series, we are actually going to help the devotees to dive deeper into Srila Prabhupada's principles and strategies for serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's preaching mission. And today we have a special guest with us, a Vaishnavi, to talk about this and expand more on this particular theme. And for that, I would like to actually welcome Sri Narayani Devi. Hare
Hare
Krishna, a warm
Krishna,
welcome to you. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Sri Narayani.
Krishna, all Vaishnavas.
Hare Krishna. So Sri Narayani Devi is actually a disciple of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj. She is the principal of the Bhakti Vedant Gurukul and International School in Vrindavan. Besides being a popular preacher, she's also part of the outreach and the congregation preaching initiatives at ISKCON Rohini. She is actually a CA by profession and has 300 books to her credit and is always helping and guiding students and is also very popular as a parenting coach. And she's going to actually put in all her knowledge and wisdom and is going to share with us today and going to talk to us about the topic, which is preaching is fundamental part of developing one's own Krishna consciousness. So we're looking forward to you speaking about that and enlightening us. Shri Narayani Devi, again, a warm welcome to the SPT platform.
Thank
And
you much. Thank you much.
thank you. Hare Krishna.
Obeisances to all the Vaishnavas present on this platform. And thanks for giving me opportunity to speak on the most, a topic which is very near to my heart. That is like preaching is basically the fundamental part of developing our own Krishna consciousness. So whatever the points, the things that I'll be speaking is basically the experience that we have in the last 20 years in my Krishna consciousness journey. And, like when we preach, whether they are helping the devotee who is preaching or not. So that's the main topic. And let's first start with like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction 1512. When Kurma Brahmin, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Kurma Kshetra, so he gave the instruction to Kurma Brahmin when he was telling Mahaprabhu that, Mahaprabhu, I want to be with you. I want to leave home and accompany you. Then he instructed him to stay at home, chant Krishna's name, and preach. And he said that, Yare dekhe tahe kahe Krishna upadesh, Amar agya hai, Guru hai, tar ei desh. Means instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Krishna as they are given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, we become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. This is what is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction. So as we are in the Gaur Purnima festival week, and like we are taking this as a series, so the most important message by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was that we have to be a preacher. So preaching the message of Godhead, and which is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it is being propagated by all the Vaishnavacharyas, the acharyas that we are all in, the acharyas whom we are following. So basically, we are a preaching cult. We are a society which is involved in the preaching. So as a preacher, we also develop we also have multiple benefits. We also develop our Krishna consciousness. So when we, especially in ISKCON, when ISKCON is being made by Srila Prabhupada, and when ISKCON, anybody in ISKCON basically preach, then what they do, they are getting the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, because Srila Prabhupada is very pleased. Because when we saw that Srila Prabhupada disciples used to preach, Srila Prabhupada was very happy seeing his disciples preaching. And this preaching movement is basically, everybody says that, oh, it is because of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada only. So the first thing that I see very near to my heart, that whenever we preach, we get more and more blessings of Srila Prabhupada, and which is, I can say, which is a lifeline for all the devotees, at least in ISKCON. When we preach, even our Guru Maharaj, even all the senior Vaishnavas are also pleased, because we little devotees move by the mercy of our seniors, because we don't have any capabilities of our own. And what to talk of, preaching other people. But when we get the mercy of our Guru Maharaj, of Srila Prabhupada, then anybody can do little bit of his own, and he can start propagating around in the world. So, when we spread this Vedic knowledge, the Vedic culture all over the world, then the devotees, they get a congenial environment for themselves also to stay. Like once upon a time, my friend went to China for some business trip, and she was a devotee. So she was very worried that I'm there for so many days, and I don't know how will I get my food, because I will take only prasadam, and how will I survive, because she was there with her husband, and for some business work and all. And she took her some dry puris and all, which were offered to Krishna, and she was very worried, how will I survive and how will we manage our prasad, because China or such countries are very popularly known to have lot of non-vegetarian food and all this. So she told me an incident. When she came back, she said that we were doing some purchasing in the market the second day only. And when the second day, when I was in the market, suddenly I saw on the wall the dancing pose of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityanand Prabhu. And looking at this painting of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I was so surprised to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here in China. So she just started jumping, because and she started shouting, Jai Gauranga, Jai Gauranga. And the adjoining shop was basically of a devotee. And when he heard that somebody is saying Jai Gauranga, so he came out of the shop. And although the language was strange, the people were strange, but in few moments they start behaving to each other like as if they know themselves for a long time. And and she was so happy. And the devotees also helped this couple, my friend, to they used to give prasadam, and they used to take to temple, and they used to give her company, take her company, and she was so delighted. So when we spread this Vedic culture all over the world, the devotee themselves also get a congenial environment, an environment where everybody is on the same platform. Even when we go to Mayapur, and we have so many festivals in Mayapur, then also we see that devotees from so many countries are there. Even I have attended some events where there were devotees from more than 100 countries were there. And all the devotees were like waking up the same time, doing the same Mangala Aarti, chanting the same mantra, attending the Aarti in the same manner, and taking the prasadam in the same uniform. Srila Prabhupada has created such a nice home for the entire world to stay. We can see in the material world that they are fighting Russia, Ukraine, so many wars are going on. Some hot wars and some cold wars are going on. But but Srila Prabhupada has given us such a beautiful place where the entire world can stay happily. And the prototype of it, the example of it, we can see in the form of our Mayapur community, where we can see the entire world is there living fitted with each other, helping each other. And and they don't feel the difference of language, they don't feel the difference of country or creed or culture. They have the same culture, same everything, so we don't feel strange. So even a new devotee, when they come to and in such an environment, he feels so blessed, because looking at the devotees chanting and dancing in sankirtan, in the same kirtan, so it's an amazing feeling. So when a devotee preaches, he gets the chances of speaking Krishna Katha, of chanting Krishna's name. And as Rup Goswami said, that when we chant Krishna's name, when we speak Krishna Katha and we leave Prajalpa, then obviously our tongue get purified. And when our tongue get purified, this tongue is the center point of our mind and our, genitals. And, this is the excess. The same excess is there on the tongue. And when the tongue is purified by speaking Krishna Katha, so then the devotee, the level of Krishna consciousness also rises. This type of surrender, by hearing and chanting Krishna Katha, by discussing the glories of Lord, His name, His forms and His pastimes, are like delicacies for devotees. And when we preach, then we find people who are waiting for us. When we see, when we go out in the world, there are so many devotees who tells us that why we haven't met you earlier, why we took so long to meet you. So it's actually, Krishna Katha attracts. It's not that we are very attractive. We are an ordinary human being and we don't have any capabilities, but still it's Krishna Katha that attracts. And when we read Srila Prabhupada books and when we speak out of them, so naturally they become so attractive. It's like our Vaishnavas, they are all like magnets. Our Guru Acharyas are all like big magnets. And we are some iron pieces. So when an iron piece get connected to a magnet, they also generate some magnetic, affinity capabilities. So people think that, that this person is having magnetic effect because he is so attractive. But the fact is that we are just an iron piece. But when we attach ourselves in this preaching mission, when we attach ourselves with the words of Srila Prabhupada, they become so attractive. And, everybody feels that, yes, that is the right thing that we were searching for. Even myself, when I just started joining, I came into Krishna consciousness. So I felt that the concepts that I was searching for a long time since my childhood, I was asking so many questions, and I was asking why this, why that, who is God, but nobody was giving answers. But when I read Srila Prabhupada books, when I came in association of devotees, when I tasted the prasadam, that was the thing that I was searching for such a long time. And this is how we became Krishna conscious. We rather at least entered the Krishna conscious process. So, when we cultivate devotees, maybe you go anywhere. A few days back, one of my my congregation member was very worried that I am shifting to Chandigarh. What will I do, Mataji? Because there will be no devotees. Here we have devotees. So I told him, look, don't worry, because Srila Prabhupada has spread this movement all throughout the world. It's just Chandigarh, so it is in India. What to talk of India? The Krishna conscious devotees are there around the world. So you don't worry. So that gives a feeling of security. That gives a feeling of security. And what the most beautiful thing was that one of the devotee who was with me, he told that, okay, Prabhuji, what you can do is you can start some preaching over there. You can start some book distribution, and you can start some preaching over there. And slowly, slowly, you will also cultivate some more devotees to be as your friends, and as same like-minded people can come together, and you can read Bhagavad Gita every evening. And he was so relaxed by hearing this. Yes, I can do that. So we don't feel strange. We don't feel that we are going to some new place, what to do, where to go. So that devotee community that can be developed by this preaching movement, and therefore the devotees themselves also feel very, very secured, and they feel that, yes, I am with the devotees. So Krishna conscious fundamentals are basically generated in the association of devotees, because when you get devotee association, obviously you're not going to do any other talks except your Krishna conscious talks. You will be sharing your readings, you'll be sharing some Krishna Katha, you'll be studying some Srimad Bhagavatam or Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And so reading all these beautiful scriptures, you get to know Krishna, and you become more closer and closer to Krishna, because while you are speaking, you are hearing, and when the other devotees are also with you, so that becomes a very magnificent environment where there is no quarrel, where there is no envy, and we are always speaking of Krishna's Katha. And if a preacher is concerned, we can see that as a preacher, I can also see that when we preach, obviously we have to improve our own standards also. We have to improve the standard of chanting, we have to improve the standard of deity worship, or we have to improve our daily schedule also, because we can see that other people are observing us. If we are doing something wrong, then they will also learn wrong. And when this online environment is there right now these days, so many of the devotees like us are doing some online chanting sessions, and we are doing some online Mangla and online, so many things are being done, so many classes are there. So by taking and giving these classes also, you need to wake up at the same time, and you are doing the Mangalatis exactly 4:30, and you do preaching, and you are chanting together. So you don't feel disconnected. Even in COVID period, all the devotees felt so connected with each other. So by this method of preaching with each other, we didn't feel that we are isolated in a home, or we can't go out. We were feeling, oh, we have more and more time to chant together, and we can sit together, and we can have more beautiful time to read our scriptures. So it's like a very popular saying that a preacher always generates his own prototypes. So the type of preaching commitments we have, the type of sadhana commitments we have, the type of Krishna conscious commitments that we have is what we are going to propagate, right? So we have to slowly, by when we preach, we ourselves also improve in our standards of our sadhana and deity worship and all. Because in early phases of Krishna consciousness, sometimes devotees like us used to do the things so that somebody should not point us. But slowly, those standards of devotional service becomes our normal routine habits, and these habits ultimately leads us to Krishna conscious ways. And when a devotee basically gives class, whenever devotee he's giving classes or he's going for book distribution, so obviously he has to study the Srila Prabhupada books. And when he's studying Srila Prabhupada books, so what happens is that he himself get to know each and every word. Reading a book like a student and then reading a book like a teacher has a lot of difference. So when we read books, it is just like a reading. But when we are reading for like preaching, so it becomes like a proper study. So we can say that when we are preaching, then we have to study Srila Prabhupada books. We have to make notes. We have to, so although this is like, okay, we are doing it so that we can learn more things, but for preaching purpose, but ultimately it is improving our understandings and realizations from the scriptures and from the purpose of Srila Prabhupada. We get to learn so many things. Whenever we read Bhagavad Gita, so in Bhagavad Gita, like first time when I read, I thought that, oh, I completed my Bhagavad Gita. But as an end, for the last 20 years, when I started reading every time whenever I used to preach, and I used to go through the entire Bhagavad Gita every day, from page 1 to page end. So all the pages that I used to read, I always used to feel that, every day these purports are giving me new realizations. Every time I read Bhagavad Gita, I feel that as if I have not read Bhagavad Gita last time. Now I'm getting something. Now I'm catching out something. And, and when you talk about Srimad Bhagavatam, it's so deep. So when you start preaching, when you are out going and outreaching people, so you have to prepare yourself maybe by force only, so that, sometimes we get some anxiety also, what will people will ask. So we need to read the books thoroughly so that, we can at least answer them. And we should not be we should not be as stuck up in some questions, right? So we read those books very nicely, and so it becomes a proper study. So there's a difference between reading and studying. Reading is just like, okay, we are reading, but when we study, means that the things are going in our realization level, we are going in our understanding level, we are making proper notes, and we are making it more systematically. So it's like everybody who should have felt this, that if we are just reading Srila Prabhupada books, at least it's my observation. If I'm reading some book, then I do learn so many things. But when I read it for preaching purpose, oh my God, every line has got so many meanings. And so every line of Srila Prabhupada is so deep. It's like sometimes I read some purport almost 15 to 20 times. Like Srimad Bhagavatam, first purport, the 1.1.1, I read almost 30-35 times, because I felt that Srila Prabhupada has written so many things in it. But why didn't I realize when I read it for the first time? Why I'm reading now? But now when I'm reading it for preaching purpose, then I am finding that each and every line has such a deep meaning and has such a profound, understanding level. It requires really a profound understanding level. So each and every line has its own meaning. And that shows the beauty of Srila Prabhupada books, and that shows the beauty of like the movement that Srila Prabhupada has created, by which even a neophyte devotee like me, or like me, is basically able to move ahead. It becomes an automatic process, So with this is an automatic process for self-purification. It is an automatic process by which you are getting there's so many realizations, so many understandings, and you are moving ahead. It is magnanimous method Srila Prabhupada has created, that you read books before distributing. So whenever I distribute books, I always go when I remember that in Prabhupada Lilamrita, I read that one day Prabhupada was going in the car, and one devotee was there who was distributing books. So Srila Prabhupada took the book and wrote that first read before distributing. And that line of Srila Prabhupada really touched me. And so whenever I go out and distribute some books, I always try first that I should read this book, so that anybody can ask me, Mataji, what is there in this book? So then obviously I have to be, express the content of that book with commitment. And that gives me my commitment of reading Srila Prabhupada books at least 1 hour a day. And in 1944, Srila Prabhupada has given the first Back to Godhead magazine. And in that, he wrote, he was basically telling what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj has given. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj has spoken a line which Prabhupada has given in that Godhead magazine. It says that we wish that this mass of our body of flesh and blood be sacrificed at the altar of preaching the Sankirtan movement propagated by Lord Chaitanya. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, look at the intensity what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj has in his heart, that we should, we wish that this mass of body, flesh and blood be sacrificed in the altar of the preaching of Sankirtan movement and propagating the message of Lord Chaitanya. So, this shows what type of preaching instinct our acharyas had, what type of preaching instinct Srila Prabhupada had, what type of, dedication he had, so that he can give us this, magnificent scriptures and the words and the message of Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So preachers also develop their Krishna consciousness by avoiding lot of errors. How? Because when they see people doing errors, when they see that, this even after 1 year of commitment, this devotee is not able to cope up with the, he's not able to convince himself about some deity worship, or he's still into demigod worship, or he is not committed, then he thinks that he is doing some error. So why don't I improve at least myself? So a preacher learns a lot when he see others doing error, when he go out and see the world. Then not only he generates compassion for them, but also he avoids himself doing those errors, because it's like a very obvious behavior that somebody has got. It's like suppose a car in front of us had a bump, and we can see that the car had a bump because of that speed breaker, or some road, it must be some ditch must be there on the road. So we, just by looking at that car, we slow down our speed so that at least we don't bump in the same spot, and we try to avoid that particular area, right? Similarly, when we see some other people in this world, they are so when we meet material people, when they are not in Krishna consciousness, they don't know anything, we see them that they are so troubled, they are having so much of pains, and they are having so much of anxieties, and they are not happy, although they are looking happy from outside, and they are still not happy at all, and they are still in pain, although they may be very rich, or they may be very beautiful, or they may be very renowned, but still they are not happy. And while as a devotee, we are so blissful throughout the day, because we from the morning 4:30 till night, we are always dancing in the kirtan, we are always ecstatic about, our friends are all it's all like the devotees only. And so it's such a beautiful environment which everybody outsider lacks. So that gives a lot of gratitude in the heart of a preacher, at least, because he is going out and he is watching this world, that this world is in so much of pain. Their world may look very beautiful, their world may look very beautiful on Facebook, on Instagram, but actually they are in pain. But when they compare themselves, then they feel that how nice is this Krishna conscious process, that moving ahead is giving me more and more and more and more bliss, more and more mercy is pouring on me. So that is why a preacher generates that gratitude feeling very easily, because you can apparently see, you can very easily see the difference between a normal person who is not in Krishna consciousness and a person who is in Krishna consciousness. So you can see how the devotee doesn't have envy. The devotee is slowly losing his bad habits. He's slowly losing his anarthas, and slowly he is improving. And therefore, he also improves looking at others. So, preachers usually find themselves, it's like a forced systematic life, because you yourself have to be there. You should be there on time. You should take the class on time. You have to be in a Vaishnav dress. You have to be there in a proper code of conduct. Obviously, then the life of a preacher becomes more systematic. They can all do sankirtan, they can all celebrate festivals together. So I always feel that when you are preaching, even if you are in a jungle, you will be getting some people around there also. Maybe you go in a village, then also you will get so many chances of gathering up people, celebrating festivals with them, doing sankirtan. And this holy name, that chanting of holy name in sankirtan has such a beautiful power that everybody is attracted. Even if you go around, then you will feel that if we start just taking our kartal and we start singing our Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we start chanting this beautiful name, then what happens? People are attracted. You may go to mall, you may go to a bazaar, you may go to some village, or you may be going to some slum areas, or you may be going to anywhere, in cities, in towns, in societies, anywhere you go and you start chanting with, and slowly, people will start gathering up, they start dancing with you, and they start participating with you, and they feel obliged that yes, you are here, and you are such an auspicious thing that you're chanting holy name. So we see this effect throughout the world, no matter they know Krishna and Ram name or not, but still they're attracted to the sankirtan. And that is the potency of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's words. That is the potency of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, like when he gave sankirtan movement, that is the power of that sankirtan movement, that everybody is attracted. So by preaching, one more thing happens is that a devotee gets a very true, selfless spiritual family. We can see, we all know that when we are in this material world, although we had family, we had relatives, and we had so many things, but those families and those relatives were full of, envy, jealousy, and this, that, you've not done this, you've not done that. But when you preach, then you get your family, a selfless spiritual family, who can serve each other. Like we have seen in the last 2 years, we have seen that wherever we had devotee community, COVID was not a problem. COVID came, but devotees were together, and devotees served each other. Although some families had COVID, and some families, those who didn't had COVID, basically they served those families, and we didn't felt that, look, you can't do this, you can't, how will I arrange medicine, how will I arrange my food? So devotees environment, when preacher is there and a devotee is there, you generate such a community that you are automatically in a safe environment. I tell you my son's comment when he went to Ahmedabad for his graduation studies. He told me, Mama, I now realize you have created such a beautiful environment, because all our friends were devotees, all our people coming to our home were devotees, and we are in an ecological system, a complete ecological system, where we didn't feel that following 4 regulative principles was a challenge, or chanting was a challenge. It was never a challenge for us. But when we go out of that environment, it becomes so challenging that, we always feel that when we will go back to our spiritual family environment, when we'll go back to our real friends, because, the friends outside are good, but still they are not that good, because they are not selfless. While my spiritual friends were more selfless than these friends. So this is, you can see a apparent change in the the environment that we have, that preachers usually have generated. So I always feel that with the preaching, our egos are also purified. Why so? Why? Because when we do book distribution, sometimes we may be thinking, oh, we are this and that, and we are like, we have our own egos of so many self achievements, and but when we go out and distribute books, and some people really chastise us, why are you doing this, that? And when we go to slum areas, and when we do Sankirtan there's so many people who cooperates. They are happy, but there are so many challenges also. But facing those challenges and those chastisement is basically telling us that, oh, what's your level? Your achievement stands nowhere. And so our egos get purified. And so we understand that we are actually the humble servant of the Lord. Because if we go out and we are filled with egos, we'll not be able to serve nicely. But when we understand that, yes, we are dependent on the mercy of Prabhupada, we are dependent on the mercy of our Vaishnavas, then, our actual, that ego of, I have achieved that much, this much, vanishes in a click. And you understand your real situation, and you understand Jiva Swarupe Hoy Nitya Krishna Das. So you understand, yes, I have to be a Krishna Das only then I will be, I am at the right situation, I am at the right, status. And the foremost, that like in Bhagavad Gita, it's said that 18th chapter, 68th verse, Krishna says, Ya idam paramam gohyam mad bhakteshu abhidhasyati bhakti mai param kritva mameva eshyasi ashanshayah. It means that one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees gets pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he'll come back to me. Now, what else can a preacher want? Krishna himself is guaranteeing pure devotional service. He is himself saying that one who explains the supreme secret to devotees, then he will surely get pure devotional service. So, actually Krishna conscious, this process of development is basically when we preach out. When we go out and preach, when we think something new, when we make bhakti vikshas, when we chant and we do sankirtans all around, when we distribute books all around, then, we all get that pure, elevation in devotional service, where Krishna is saying that pure devotional service is guaranteed. And at the, and he says at the end, he'll come back to me. So what else a person will desire? Everything is given. Krishna has promised. So what else we want? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction is achieved. So what else we want? Our Sri Prabhupada is pleased. What else we can want? And our Guru Maharaj and all Vaishnavas are pleased. So this is the fundamental, stepstones of elevating in Krishna consciousness. And I always feel that, becoming an army man in the army of Srila Prabhupada, where Krishna has promised guaranteed salary to us. And what is the salary? And salary is pure devotional service. There, step by step, elevation in Krishna consciousness. This is what army men of Srila Prabhupada is promised by Krishna, that yes, you are in the preaching movement. Don't worry whatever happens. Just go out and preach, because that is the only way you purify yourself. That is the only way by which you will be able to understand and realize the actual process of Krishna consciousness, the actual process by which one can achieve the love of Krishna, the love of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we can't do anything on our own. We can't do anything. We need lot and lot of mercy. And this mercy flows to us when we please our seniors, Vaishnavas, Guru Maharaj, Prabhupada. This is entire Guru Parampara above us, who are pleased when we spread the message of Godhead to the normal common people, and we go out and every village, and we are telling that you also chant, you also take beads, and you start chanting. And when we see that revolution in the lives of people, then we really feel that yes, this is a magnificent movement, and this is how our heart also get purified. We also get that conviction that yes, this is right movement, because Shraddha, ourself is so delicate. It's so it's so delicate that it is disturbed by anything or everything. But when we are amongst devotees, when we go out and preach, when we see other people, then we understand the importance of Krishna conscious life. Then we understand the importance of devotee association. Then we understand the importance of chanting. Then we understand the importance of the mercy that is flowing to us through Guru Parampara. And this is what a devotee can always seek for. So whatever we achieve, at least I'm sharing my experience on that. Whatever I have achieved in Krishna consciousness is because of the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. And I see him smiling whenever I take little extra efforts for doing something which is, where people joins, when people understand the concept of Krishna consciousness. So this is what is my realizations about a very beautiful topic that has been given. And this is a topic which is I chose this topic because this is very close to my heart. I always feel that yes, I got everything from this preaching movement of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. I hope that if you have any questions.
Hare Krishna. Yes, that was wonderful. And I'll just see if we have a question. I think we do have probably one question. We'll just try to see if we can put it. So here is the question. This is from Archana Bhagat, and she's asking Mataji, what is the strongest part of preaching?
Every wing of preaching is equally powerful. I feel that even if you are sweeping the temple and you're cleaning the temple is also part of preaching. So when people see you that you are doing it with such a selfless heart and you're doing it with such a dedication, they're automatically attracted. It's not that giving class is only the method of preaching. It's like doing any service in temple, being with the devotees and serving them without any motive is actually the process of preaching. So I have seen, I give you an example. In ISKCON Punjabi Bagh, there was a devotee who is maybe he's like a scrap collector, right? So, but he comes in the night, 9 o'clock, 9:30, and he sweep the entire temple, because he's such a poor man. He always think, I talked to him once, and he said that I'm a poor man. I don't know how to speak, and I don't know how to, read Bhagavad Gita. But what I can do only is that I can sweep the temple. So he comes after the temple is closed, and he always just while, like, when the temple is about to close, he just come and rush to take the darshan and then start. When everybody goes out, then he will just clean the temple. And by just looking at that devotee every day, there are so many people who get attracted by the movement, and they feel, yes, this is the power of Krishna conscious movement, that nothing is less and nothing is more. You can go out for book distribution, you can serve in temple, you can decorate deities, you can give classes, you can read and tell others what Prabhupada purports are giving. So they're all equally powerful. This is my understanding.
Thank you for that wonderful response. And I think this whole, your whole talk actually has been so inspiring, even like personally. And we have one more question actually from Bhavna Dhawan. Bhavna Dhawan is saying, Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for this valuable session. I have one question. Sometimes, in spite of our hard efforts of preaching, we couldn't able to convert one person into devotee. So that's her question. So, what should we think? Is it due to our lack of purification or something else? Kindly explain.
I can share my experience. I can my experience is that whenever we go out and distribute books, I usually used to feel that everybody used to sell the books, but nobody was taking books from me. So, I struggled very hard to distribute books in different areas, and I used to feel that I have the least score. So then what I did was I just prayed to Srila Prabhupada. I bent down to Srila Prabhupada and I said, Prabhupada, I'm not able to distribute books. Look, I'm coming almost like one book went and only one Bhagavad Gita went the entire day and nothing could happen. Please give me mercy, and so that I can distribute some books and you'll be pleased by this. So, just by praying to Srila Prabhupada, I can see the difference. Like, I found next day only, I could see that so many people came to me and they said, I was searching for this Bhagavad Gita. Where you can give me English one? Can you give me Hindi one? And I can see the Prabhupada mercy flowing in. So my opinion is, this is my experience, that you should always beg mercy from Prabhupada. You can beg mercy from Vaishnavas, that if they empower you, you can do anything, because we don't have any capability. We don't have even capability to understand even a word of Bhagavad Gita. What to talk, what to speak to others, and what to spread and preach. We don't have any capability on our own. It's only that we have to just pray for mercy, and I have seen the wonders. So that's my realizations.
An extension of her question. This is Archana Bhagat here, and she's asking that then what is the difference between seva and preaching?
Preaching is seva and seva is preaching. They are combined and they are not different. And everything, because if somebody is even decorating, when we come to Radha Shyam's, the temple in Vrindavan, the devotees who are stitching the deity's dress, and you can't see them who is stitched this dress, but so many people are attracted, and the temple is full the entire day. So many people just to have darshan of Radha Shyam Sundar, they come. So I think that is also preaching. So any service you do with your selfless heart, with the heart that, yes, I want to serve our deities, serve Srila Prabhupada. So that is coming out to be like a part of preaching movement.
Thank you. So, Archana, I hope we have answered your question. Mataji has. And we have another question here from Lalita Gopi. And Lalita Gopi is asking, to what degree can you change the presentation of Krishna consciousness to reach different audiences?
Mataji, is a very relevant question, and thank you for asking this question. We have to see the type of audience we have. We can't just speak like 4 regulative principles and 16 rounds on the first day that we meet people. But yes, we can tell them to chant. So according to the audience, we can change the depth of our Krishna, like the philosophy. We can alter what type of level we need to move ahead, like at what point he is, and he is at what receptibility he is. So we have to check the audience, and accordingly we have to speak. Even we see when Srila Prabhupada used to preach, and when he used to go to some university, he was talking about the science of soul. He was never, he was always telling the difference between an animal and a human being. He was never covering the topics in depth that he is given in Bhagavatam. So according to the level of the person, according to the level of audience, we must check the level of or you can say the depth of concepts that we need to deliver. So this is very important. And because sometimes we see people who come and get attracted to ISKCON, and they come and they meet somebody who start telling them, oh, you have to donate this much percentage, or you have to do 4 regulative principle, you have to leave this, you have to do this, and you have to chant this. So he feels, oh, it is so burdensome. Oh no, I will not enter, I will go away. So he just runs away. But while if you give the taste of chanting the holy name, if you give the taste of devotee association to them, if we start relishing those moments that he is with the devotee, then he is ready to sacrifice his bad habits. And rather, I should say, the bad habits automatically goes away. He is not sacrificing, rather they goes away automatically. So my understanding is that we should tell according to the audience, not we should not utter everything that we have. So this is what I can say in preaching. We have to take care, and that is why wherever we go and we take some class, we always ask what type of audience is this, like what are the newcomers, or they are chanting, or they are all initiated. So accordingly we have to adjust our the content that we have to speak on.
Thank you. So I hope, Lalita Gopi, we have answered your question. And we have Nirmal Bankar. So we'll take a question from her. She's saying, Mataji, those who are not having communication skills, they can't be preachers. How can they help in promoting Krishna consciousness?
Mataji, it's very, it's like I told you that if one doesn't have communication skill, you don't require communication skill. Actually, even the most eloquent speaker of this world will not be able to, will not be able to deliver Krishna conscious philosophy to anybody. But the only thing that you require is the mercy of Prabhupada and purity. So you just read Prabhupada's scriptures and try to give to others. And if you think that you are not able to do that, then you engage yourself in some service in your nearby temple, and so that you serve devotees, and automatically the preaching movement, actually, preaching movement does not mean only the person who is sitting in the Vyasasana and speaking. Anybody who is serving them also, like who is preparing prasadam, who is distributing prasadam, or who is cleaning who is making all the arrangements, they are also preaching. It's not that only the speaker is a preacher. So we have to get some service from the Vaishnavas around you, and you have to ask them, what service can I do? And according to our own interest and our own capabilities, we can like even our counselors can also help us to choose some service, and that is how we can help in this preaching movement.
Thank you. We have our one last question here. This is from Bal Ganesh, and Bal Ganesh is asking, is preaching more important than our personal sadhana, Mataji?
Prabhuji, first thing is personal sadhana, because we'll not be able to do preaching unless our sadhana is strong. And Prabhupada's schedule is such a nice schedule that we can adjust everything and anything in it, because he has given a morning schedule to us where we are chanting from morning 5 to 7, or maybe 5:30 to 7:30. So when we are chanting, we are doing our 16 rounds in the morning, and we are doing our deity worship. So like the whole day is with us. So it's I think sadhana and preaching are never clashing. So if we keep our rounds, if we don't complete our rounds in the morning, then obviously they are going to somehow clash with each other. But then I will recommend you that you please do your sadhana first, because even without, when our sadhana is not good, we'll not be able to preach nicely.
Thank you so much, Mataji. I think, and I think you just brought out this beautiful, the essence of preaching, and where you actually shared about how preaching actually helps one to first understand our mistakes. It helps to develop so many beautiful, valuable qualities like compassion, gratitude. We can appreciate Krishna consciousness so much better, and our life becomes so much more systematic and regulated. And also the aspect of the mercy of Krishna, which you so much emphasized, and I think you kept going back to that again and again, even in your questions. That finally, it all what matters, and from where we get all our strength is actually the mercy of the Lord, the Guru, and the Acharya, and our the lordships. um, and the point which really is going to stay with me is what you shared about that, when we are preaching, what we get is we get a true selfless family. And I think this is the ISKCON family that we all have. And this is what even we here at the SPT are trying to do, that, we are just trying to bring some kind of inspiration and nourishment to devotees as part of this series, Every Town and Village. And it's so amazing that everybody's inspiring everybody, and we have such a strong sense of being part of this family. So it's wonderful. We're all coming from different cultures, races, but still we all feel united under Srila Prabhupada's shelter. And thank you so much for bringing those, beautiful, those are the little gems of preaching, and highlighting them. So we are so grateful to you for sharing with us this evening all these different nuances, these different aspects, and also addressing the questions from our audiences. And here is wishing you a very auspicious Gaur Purnima, and all auspiciousness also in relation to all the preaching that you do at ISKCON Rohini, at your school, and just the overall outreach that you are a part of. So thank you so much.
Thank you,
Hare
Matri, for giving me the opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Hare.
Hare
And thank you to all our audiences. We're going to have this series, which is going to be part of the GBC Strategic Planning Facebook page and the YouTube page. So you can hear it again if you wish to, or share it with your friends. And we're going to have many more events coming up till the 18th of March, which is where we conclude the final day of Gaur Purnima. So just stay tuned and be around to hear more lectures. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.